Tuesday Tech News time. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about all the big things that happened yesterday. AMD coming out swinging. We got some big hot news today after we talk about today's sponsor for hot news. Hey friends, today's video sponsor is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity, which in this day and age is just either fun or necessary to keep afloat wherever you are. Skillshare offers membership with meaning, with so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives. Skillshare empowers you to accomplish real growth. They offer creative classes designed for real life and all the circumstances that come with it. The lessons can help you stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce you to a community of millions. It can be included in topics such as illustration, graphic design, photography, film and video, animation, freelance, and entrepreneurship. It's all really good stuff, and my particular favorite class right now is filmmaking from home, turn found footage into compelling video. I've actually been realizing that as a father, I haven't been recording as much of my kids in their current age as I would like to remember them as. So it's hitting home that I should probably just not for any like expressive purpose be filming, but just like as a memory down the lane, because time flies, my friends. I have a kid who's almost 10. It's hectic. As well, Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there's no ads and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. So if you're interested in checking out Skillshare for a limited time, if you click the link in the video description, you can get a free trial of this Skillshare premium membership. Again, just click the link in the video description, sign up for free, get learning, get expressing your creativity, potentially dive into a topic that will unlock some sort of creativity in you that you may not have known you had. Check them out. All right, friends, we knew something like this was going to happen. Yesterday was supposed to be the performance embargo lift for the RTX 3080. We were supposed to get that at 9 a.m. Eastern. However, we talked about in yesterday's episode of Hot News that it happened to get delayed. Well, it turns out that AMD's marketing counterpunch didn't get delayed, because on the day we were supposed to get 3080 performance numbers, we got the first look at Big Navi's graphics cards, with AMD Radeon tweeting, "Take a look at the design of the Radeon RX 6000 series," which by itself looks like a pretty impressive card, but we got a couple things to talk about with this. Number one, this appears to have been AMD's marketing scheme to kind of get mindshare away from NVIDIA, but probably NVIDIA knew about this and moved it not only for shipping reasons to reviewers like they stated, but also because they didn't want to have the build up to their launch interrupted by something like this. And by something like this, I mean the fact that they released this in Fortnite. Yeah, that's where AMD's marketing is right now. Let's not release our GPUs. Let's only release bikes. And then once we've released the bikes, let's go ahead and put a teaser in Fortnite. And then once we have the teaser in Fortnite, let's say we're not going to be announcing our cards until well after NVIDIA's already launched all of theirs. And then let's go ahead and, even though we're over a month away to the October 28th reveal date of RDNA 2, let's go ahead and leak a cooler that you can find in Fortnite itself, which, in case you can't tell, a lot of people aren't necessarily happy about it. I mean, I get it. It's just an odd move by AMD. You can see that they had somebody create an entire map, which, like, kind of cool. Reveals the fact that it has a single HDMI, likely 2.1, 2 display port, and a Type-C. Hopefully that's not a Virtual Link connector, and hopefully that's just a regular Type-C output, because Virtual Link's dead at this point. And you can kind of see the overall scheme of the graphics card. It's probably not blue on top right here like this picture indicates. That's most likely a reflective surface, and it's just reflecting the clouds up above. And in case you want a video of it, we'll leave a link in the video description, because several people were able to make a video of this map in Fortnite. But this just seems like a bad marketing move. I kind of get what they were doing with trying to steal the mind share away from the 30 series launch, but honestly, this ain't it, Chief. AMD really isn't. Like, you probably would have been better off just posting the picture. I don't think Fortnite really adds any value here. And then also, let's just talk about the fact that there's a ton of comparisons going around of the fact that AMD might have copied the homework of the RTX 20 series. Obviously, there is a key difference in the fact that this is a triple fan cooling design as opposed to the 20 series dual fan, and it doesn't stick out as much for the fans. But that side profile, Really, AMD? Man, I think you need a new marketing department for your GPUs. I really do. You're killing it on CPUs, but I I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think of this whole big thing surrounding Big Navi and the announcement of the RX 6000 series from AMD? Let me know down in the comments. But that's not the only Navi news we've got. No, my friends, somebody apparently had a prototype of it in their system. I was going to talk about this previously, but I ended up getting coincided with the official unveiling. But coincidentally about this one, it looks like this has 16 gigabit Samsung memory in it. But then also they didn't have the proper cooler, so they strapped on with what appears to be that looks like a Rogentech logo to me, but I might be wrong there. The partner board using a CPU cooler to actually cool the die on this thing. Obviously, we have the official cooler on it now, but it's kind of neat that somebody had a prototype. But we also have benchmarks of Big Navi in case you want to see those, at least in one game specifically, which is Ashes of the Singularity. We can see here that it looks like a stock Big Navi performs about 6,200 points at 4K in Ashes of the Singularity. For comparison reasons, it looks like the 2080 Ti stock is right about there, and then an overclocked 2080 Ti absolutely decimates that. So it's faster than a 5700 XT, but not quite as fast as a 2080 Ti. Again, we'll have to wait and see if this is the full Big Navi or if it's a lesser Big Navi, which is something to take into consideration because there are multiple Navi chips that are launching, Navi 21 and 22, which are both bigger than the 5700 XT. We just have to see where that is. But according to Rogaine, the Navi 22 SKU should compare with the 3070 lineup, and the Navi 21 should compete with the 3080 and up. But based on this benchmark, this likely isn't then Big Navi. And according to Moore's Law is dead, he says that Big Navi should be within spitting distance of the RTX 3080 in regular gaming performance. Doesn't necessarily beat it, but beats the 3070, which as long as it comes in at a $600 price point is absolutely going to work. But as we've been kind of seeing from all of the benchmarks, don't necessarily expect AMD to beat NVIDIA this generation. They will compete on value just like they did with the 5700 XT. You can't argue against the fact that you get a lot of graphics card for your money with that, but it's not beating the 20 series. And it looks like Big Navi won't beat the 30 series, but will give you a reason to buy it. Is this what you're expecting out of AMD? Is this what you wanted? Do you just want a competitive card, or do you really want them competing for the top billing best card of all time? Is that how do you want this race to go down? Let me know down in the comments. But let's talk about the 3080 for a second, because it appears that a reviewer accidentally published a few things when the embargo did get moved. So big oops on them, but with that, we got some good indication of thermal testing from the 3080 with a FLIR camera showing that indeed the cooler gets insanely hot. You can see that the fins of the heatsink are getting up to 65 degrees Celsius. And this little white area is the PCB, which FLIR indicates is about 20% hotter when it looks like that. So you can expect these cards to run in the 80 to 90 degrees Celsius region. But we also don't know what the fan curve was at. We have no idea what kind of situation this was in. We don't know noise levels. There's a lot of things about this test by itself that doesn't tell us a whole lot. So we have to wait until we get more information regarding this before we can say that the 3080 is a hot behemoth. Although the fact that it needs a 500 watt 12 pin, you couldn't have guessed it. And Seasonic's not going to make you guess whether or not you have to pay for your 12-pin extension, because they're announcing that if you have a Seasonic power supply and you can supply proof of purchase of your RTX 30 series card, Founders Edition card, they'll send you out a free 12-pin modular cable. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, friends, you keep Seasonic being good guys. You get it for free. Now, let's talk about something that's not going to be for free, which is the PS5. But according to a retailer back-end SKU management software, we might have the pricing of it now, which is $399 for the digital edition and $499 for the edition with the disk drive. This is according to a retailer over in Spain, indicating with code words Aria and Enigma costing those two different price setups, which kind of falls in line with how previous PlayStations were codenamed. We had Orbis and Neo and Morpheus and Arc. So having Aria and Enigma kind of fits within that same vibe. And $399 obviously would make a lot of sense for Sony to release the PS5 at, in in order to be in between the Series S and the Series X, but still offer tremendous value there. We obviously are waiting until tomorrow to find out, so come check us over at twitch.tv/UFDisciple. That's where we're going to have the live stream of the Sony event at 4 p.m. Eastern. But we also got a couple more things with Insomniac Games tweeting out this ray trace reflected just kind of gif of the upcoming Spider-Man Miles Morales game, which we have less gameplay footage of, even though it's a launch title, which it probably won't be with how little they're promoting it. We have less footage of that than we do of Ratchet and Clank, which is not a launch title. So what is Insomniac and Sony doing here on the marketing? But that's not just it. We also have some indication, according to Daniel Ahmad, saying that Sony apparently wants to get so many units in stock that they are air freighting 60 flights of fully packed 747s to fly them over to the US so that they can get them out in time for the retail shipments and making sure that they're available in such quantities that everybody could have one. So number one, this tells me that Sony is absolutely betting that people are going to be able to purchase this. And number two, it appears that they were a little far behind schedule, because you don't necessarily want to use air freight when it comes to shipping all of this, because it gets hecka expensive. But they must be really confident in the fact that it's going to sell in order to do this. And the last little kind of like Sony related thing, Final Fantasy 16, we're getting some details about that. Apparently it's going to be used on a tried and true existing engine and not a brand new one to showcase the PS5. Likely this means it's going to be on the Final Fantasy 7 remake and Final Fantasy 15 engine, which is fine, but apparently Project Athia, which is the one that got showed off with the Sony showcase, is going to be the one that takes it to the next level with the next engine. So UE4 probably will be Final Fantasy 16, and then Project Athia will be on a further engine that showcases all of the PS5's technical abilities, which is fine. Like, I guess I don't necessarily need a brand new engine in order to enjoy a new Final Fantasy. If it runs at a smooth 4K 60, I'm totally down for it. And Razer was down sort of with leaking all the public data, with 100,000 plus gamers' personal information getting leaked because of a misconfigured search setup in their website, making it not only available to the public that you could get all of this information that you could get from a credit card transaction, such as address and whatnot, not a credit card number, but it was indexed by search engines. Wow. Razer coming out and saying that a fix was made on September 9th, but obviously not before 100,000 gamers lost all of their information out into the cloud, which unfortunately I probably am one of them, since I purchased something from Razer last year. Phenomenal. Thanks, Razer. And thanks Verizon for acquiring Tracfone. Bad segue. Tracfone, an MVNO, largest MVNO in the US, which in case you're not familiar with, an MVNO is a company that sub-licenses a cell network so that you can pay cheaper prices, because they kind of buy it at wholesale, and then you save money without having to have all of the corporate bureaucracy of being with one of the major carriers. Which I get, why would Verizon acquire this? Because the whole point and the whole like good thing about an MVNO is the cheaper prices and the flexibility there. So if you get acquired by one, it just kind of ruins the whole point. I don't understand this, but yeah, good job Verizon for consolidating your stuff. And Google, thank you for rolling out a 2 gigabit service. Apparently it's going to start happening this fall for $100. Gosh dang it, why do I have to live in an area with no fiber? We just have cable. This is $70 a month for gigabit and $100 a month for 2 gig down and 1 gig up. Please Google, come. I know you're not rolling out fiber networks anymore, but please come to Gainesville. Please get rid of Cox. But you know what else we don't have in Gainesville? An IKEA. I have to drive at least 2 hours to go find the nearest one, but they're partnering up with ASUS ROG to bring out gaming furniture. This is an announcement that was published by ASUS, where they're apparently going to bring affordable gaming furniture accessories with a line of around 30 products, which is intriguing. I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I mean, if it's just IKEA furniture with some RGB or a ROG logo, that's going to be kind of stupid. But if it's really cool custom stuff, like it's an IKEA desk that you have to assemble yourself, but it has all of the layout and holes drilled for you to build your own PC into it, and you can make your own desk PC really easily and assemble it from the get-go that way, that would be awesome. I would love to see what this pans out to being. It could obviously end up being a gimmick where it's just like a gamer area in IKEA, where it's just like a ROG coffee cup and a ROG headphone stand, and it could end up being really pathetic. So we'll have to wait and see. But speaking of really pathetic, YouTube is launching its short form video content competitor to TikTok, known as Shorts, which I don't see how this is differentiated from YouTube Stories at all. I don't understand that. And it's not going to be on a separate app. It's going to be in the YouTube app, and it's going to be on the homepage. And it's the same short-sighted bullcrap that Instagram's doing with Reels. It's the same nonsense. The whole point of TikTok is that it's standalone and its algorithm is really good. The YouTube algorithm, probably not going to be very good for this. Kind of adding it on to the experience that's already there is only going to make things worse. But they're only beta testing it in India for now, so we'll have to see if this ever gets a major release, which don't YouTube. This is stupid. No, nobody's going to use it. It's bad. But what's not bad, according to my opinion, is Microsoft's xCloud, which officially gets released today, and it's going to have over 150 titles available right now. But unfortunately, it's not going to have titles like Microsoft Flight Simulator. But in case you want to see the entire list, we'll leave a link in the video description. 150 games that you can play streaming over the internet on your phone, whether it be Android or iPhone, or potentially to your Xbox or your PC. And then yesterday, we talked about how the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol seized some OnePlus buds, saying that they were counterfeit AirPods, and OnePlus being like, hey, give those back. And everybody being like, these aren't knockoff. They're just like a separate brand. Well, the U.S. CBP is buckling down on this and saying upon examining the shipment in question, they determined that the subject earbuds appeared to violate Apple's configuration trademark. Apple has configuration trademarks on their brand of earbuds and has recorded those trademarks with the CBP. Based on that determination, they seized the shipment. So they're not giving it back, and they're saying that these are fakeroni and you can't have them. So, OnePlus buds, knockoff AirPods, which, you can go to Walmart and find something that is way closer to AirPods than what the OnePlus buds are. But that doesn't matter. So, yeah, we'll see if these ever actually make it to sale in the U.S. We'll follow this shenanigans as it continues forward. Speaking of shenanigans, Google's going to have some shenanigans on September 30th for you with regards to the next Pixel device, saying that they're going to have a new Chromecast, latest smart speaker, and new Pixel phones on the launch night in. Your couch is the best seat in the house, my friends. Pixel and chill? Is that what the kids are saying these days? And are the kids saying, yo, look at those dope Oculus Quest 2s that Facebook's making? This is hecka thick. Dog, love that VR-ness. Am I fellow kids? Well, a video got leaked of the Oculus Quest 2. It's supposed to have better specs. We don't know the refresh rate. None of this matters. None of it really matters, because Oculus now requires you to sign in with Facebook, or they will at least in October. It's going to be mandatory, which means that I'm done. I'm done with Oculus. I'm not buying another one. I'm not going to use my current one. I'm going to sell my Quest. I'm done with this. So cool. Valve, you're our only hope. HTC is going to go under. They're going to sell their technology to Valve. So Valve's the only company that can actually make VR available to the mass consumer. So please at least release the Valve Index 2, which is cheaper. I know you're never going to get around to the Valve Index 3, but that's okay. We could take a Valve Index Alex at some point. Just don't leave us with Facebook, please. And don't leave us alone in the universe is what a lot of people say. Well, it turns out that scientists have potentially discovered some form of life over on Venus, our sister planet, which is insane because it's at least allegedly uninhabitable. But they detected the chemical phosphine into the atmosphere, and with apparently how phosphine breaks down, the only way that you could have it in the quantities that it is in the atmosphere is if it's being produced by some sort of organic life within Venus. However, some scientists are saying, we don't know necessarily about that, but we'll find out more. Just because there's life on other planets doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to be something we can communicate with, but we can at least see, hey, we were wrong. Things can live on Venus. And at least I can say, hey, I'm gone with this episode of Hot News being over. But you know who's going to be there for you? Today's video sponsor. Don't forget to check out Skillshare at the link in the video description. For a limited time, you can get a free trial of their Skillshare Premium membership. Check them out. And that's it. Don't forget to check us out tomorrow, twitch.tv/UFDisciple. We're going to be live with the PlayStation 5 announcement that's going to be taking place. We're also going to be just kind of streaming about the RTX 30 series tomorrow because that's the performance embargo. So come check us out. Hit the like button on this one. Get subscribed on this one. Bye.